The United States military is a formidable force capable of utilizing its force around the globe with ease. However, with each conflict that spreads like wildfire, the crisis in Gaza, the Ukraine war, and China's rise in the Pacific, each day it becomes more and more difficult for it to use its force reasonably. The United States will need to expand its military force in order to have its existence be ensured. Until the conflict already happening, the United States is continually becoming more distant from its allies and cannot rely on them for anything. Adding on top of this, the United States is considered to be the police of the world and has to stop enemies from the globe from sowing chaos into the global order. Finally, the most difficult aspect is that there will be an entirely new angle for attacks to happen through cyber attacks. In this speech, I will discuss all these topics in depth and explain why and I believe the United States cannot be idle about its military buildup and why I support S2296 National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026. Let's start from the top about how conflicts are rising around the globe like wildfire. Let's start with the hard issue, which is that wars have continually spread across the globe, and the United States is clearly unprepared for conflict at a global scale. The Ukraine war and the war in Gaza are proof that the United States imperialism has become incapable of stopping widespread conflict. As civilian death tolls rise in the conflict, China gains its strength to land a decisive strike on Taiwan. Nearly 70,000 people lay dead due to a preventable conflict. At 69,000, my source says over 69,000 Palestinians have been killed in Israel-Hamas war so far, by PBS. When will these preventable conflicts cease? When will the Ukraine war end? A war that has nearly caused 1 million casualties in just a few British years, with tens of thousands of civilians being caught in the line fire. A total of 53,006 civilian casualties, including 14,534 deaths, since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia in 2022, by the United Nations. The only way to solve these issues is through increasing military spending so the United States can fend off threats around the globe. Now we move on to why the United States cannot afford to fall behind militarily. The United States is unable to rely on its allies of the European Union and other allies across the Pacific that it has. This is because it's become dependent on other countries for defense is not a risk that can be afforded in today's political environment. Through our actions, the United States has become distant to its longtime allies, so it has become uncertain if they would still help us in our times of need. I do not blame them. The United States, the guarantor of post-World War II liberal international order, has become unreliable and even a potentially dangerous partner. This is by Newsweek. Due to President Trump's continued erratic behavior towards allies, such as trying to buy Greenland, make Canada the 51st state, and much more, he's irreversibly damaged our relationship with our allies. This is what makes all the chaos going in the world much more exemplified. Building up our military is a must if we want the United States to continue to remain a dominant superpower. The United States is too important to fall behind the world militarily. Now move on to how the United States has a role as